Hey guys, this is Tony with Wealth Builders HQ and creator of Patterns in a Flash. We're going to take a look at the patterns of the week from the previous week. So you can see what we were looking at and see how they turned out, if they're still in play or not. Before we get there, I am not a registered broker-dealer investment advisor. I will not give you any recommendations or advice. Everything we do here is purely for educational purposes. If I do mention a trade, just assume it is a paper trade or practice trade. For regulatory reasons, we do not discuss funded trading. So the two we looked at last week were a double top on MFC and Abbott Labs with an inverted head and shoulders. Let's jump right into the charts and see what happened. Abbott Labs, that vertical line is the day I highlighted it, and it did. I don't know if it actually hit that or not. 123.87. It missed the entry point by a nickel, and that's a good thing because look what's happened in the last week since I highlighted it. Missed it by a nickel. So if you happen to do the pattern of the week, if you got patterns in a flash and you did the pattern of the week, you put a contingent order at 123.92, you did not hit, and praise the Lord, right? Because you would have gotten stopped out the next day. Possibly the same day. I mean, I don't know when it hit. You can see that the high hit and then the low hit actually hit the stop out point. But even if you did get stopped out there, you would have gotten out the next day. So, and hopefully you were using a stop if for some reason you got in, because at the end you wouldn't be feeling good right now. Been there too many times. Hate to admit it, but it's true. So Abbott Labs is at this point off the radar. Manulife, I think that's how you pronounce it. This is an insurance provider. This is a MetLife competition. This was the vertical line, that was the 7th when I highlighted it. This had already broken down below the entry point, and I was not super excited about it. Not a massive stock anyway. It's only a $21 stock, and we're looking for $1.28. So it's not a massive one that you're not gonna make $1 million overnight, unless you bought every option contract there was. But still, it's not bad. If you're working with a smaller account, this could be a great one to get started with. And it's basically just dancing around here, which actually I like. And the one thing I love about it is if you look at the shadows up here at the tops of the candles. Excuse me, I got an itchy nose for some reason. The shadows are all really long up top. There's a little bit down here below, but not much. In other words, the bulls are trying to push it higher, and every time they push it back up to this point, 2150 or so, the bears come in and push it back down. So it appears from the candlesticks, just looking at all these upper shadows and not really big lower shadows. They're little ones. They're decent size on some, but the upper shadows are really big. So the bulls are losing steam and the bears are starting to gain control. So I love the fact that this is still sitting here and there's still some potential on this one. So we'll see what happens with that next week, since the market is closed tomorrow because it's Good Friday. And there's still two others on the radar. CVS, this is one we looked at a few weeks ago. I believe it was right there. And I even flat out said, even if it breaks here, breaks the neckline, I'm not going to get in because it's dropped so far so fast, it's likely to retrace. That's what the odds are. And sure enough, it did. But we've created another, if you call it another right shoulder, but we've created a lower high, and it's rolled over the last few days. So if it does come back down and break this level, then I'd be interested. Possibly even, maybe dipping my toe in the water up here, just in case, but you got to trail it pretty tight. So I still like the looks of that one. And the last one is this one. There's no trade left right now. If you're in this, you're in great position. We looked at this. I'm almost positive it was it that day? No, not 4-4. It would have been 4-1 or 3:30. It was one of those days there. And I looked at this as a descending triangle. And a couple days later, it started to move, and I jumped on board this thing. I don't know who else did, but it moved big that one day, and it's been great. It's I cashed out half of mine with a 50% rate of return. So I didn't take a huge position. This is a super volatile stock. It could be news driven. If some news comes out with the coronavirus, that's what they do, right? If there's some news play that comes out, this thing could literally gap to 150 overnight. So I didn't take a giant position because it is highly risky because of volatility and the possibility of overnight news coming out. So I didn't want to have one of those, because with stocks like this, you literally can lose everything overnight. So anytime I'm trading one of these, and there's such a huge potential anyway. I mean, we're looking at 67 down to 50. If it drops another 8 or 10 points, I'm going to have at least a double on the rest of my position, if not more. So I look at it and go, you know what, I can take out a 50% rate of return on half my position. I bank a bunch of profit. I take half my risk off the table, more than half. Realistically, it's about 75% because I'm putting profit in the bank, right? If you put $5,000 into a trade and you take $3,000 back out, you sell half the position for $3,000. you've taken 60+% of your risk off the table. You only have $2,000 left on the table, right? So it's a good place to be. That's one of the main reasons I scale. It dramatically increases your odds of ultimately coming out profitable, and especially when you're trading volatile stocks that could have crazy news that completely changes the landscape. So you want to protect your profits, cover your backside, use your stops, and when you can get out with a healthy profit and leave some there and let it run, if it keeps going, great. That's the best position you could be in. Because now I don't care. Even if it gaps to 150 tomorrow with news, I wouldn't lose that much. I've already banked most of my profit, a big profit. I wouldn't lose very much at all. So anyway, that is it for this week. And let me remind you, if you're going to fail at just one thing, fail at quitting. Y'all take care. God bless.
Folks, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the training. Now, if you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up and go ahead and hit the subscribe button right over here and hit the bell to keep up with all the latest trading content. And oh, did you know that we have a podcast? Supercharge your trading education with the Stock Market Millionaire, which you can find in the description down below. And while you're there, you can also find other amazing free trading resources that I've put together just for you.